just because they did it does not mean that you have to. And this is so important because a lot of times we get stuck in this little spin out rut. Okay. So think about this. When you were born, and I've talked to you guys about this before, when you're born, you don't really have a lot of choices, right? A lot of times before you're even on this planet, you got a name you didn't ask for. You just have it. You're told what you're going to do from a religious perspective. Well, this is what we do. This is what you're going to do. And so all of these weird expectations are put upon you. So now you fast forward ahead. I don't know how old you are, but you decide, you know what? I don't know that I want to practice that religious practice anymore. I may not want to practice anything, and I may want to practice spirituality. And the people before you are like, oh my God, what are you doing? That's not what we do here. No, that's what you don't do there. This is what I do here. And this is so important in order for you to break that cycle. Okay. In order to break the cycle of feeling stuck, you have to remember that just because they did it doesn't mean you have to do it. And this is important when it comes to relationships, right? Because people will say things like, I stayed with your grandfather. It was a commitment. I made a commitment and I had to stay. I also want you to understand that during different times, different eras, different places and times in which we live, people who you may look and say, oh my God, look back in the day, everybody stayed married. I promise you, I have older clients who are 80s, 90s, 70s, right? And they'll tell you, oh my God, I was miserable. And had I known what I know now, I'd have gotten out. I would have gotten right on out. But because they were too worried about what somebody thought, or, oh, the Catholic grandmother didn't like getting divorced, so she thought it was a sin, so she stayed. And now I'm going to stay because she says if I don't, it's bad. You do not have to do what your Catholic grandmother did, or anybody for that matter. You get to start your own path. Think about this. If the world stayed the same, okay, just we wouldn't have this. You wouldn't be watching this. You wouldn't have phones. We wouldn't have cars, because people do something different. You do it differently. And I can tell you, do you know how many people, all these things that we use now and get used to doing, do you know how many people were told it's stupid, it's dumb, that's never going to work, oh my gosh, you're wrong, you're crazy. And a lot of people still don't like it, but it's still flourishing. So you have to remember that when you want to do something and try a different path, you are allowed to do that. You are 100% allowed to do that. And they are 100% allowed to not like it. And you are 100% allowed to say, I don't care if they like it. But that's where the disconnect is for you. Because you're like, yeah, I want to do this. And you're like, but what if they get angry? So what? So what? Right? Because the reality is this. Do you want them to feel comfortable and then you're always trying to jump through hoops? Or do you want to be at peace and they can either get on board or not? And then the ones who do get on board, you're there, right there for them too. That's a decision that you have to make. But if you want to try new things, maybe you're in a relationship and you're like, this relationship isn't working and I've tried and it's time to end it. And then you get in your head and go, but there's nobody divorced in my family. Got to be one. Somebody's got to start. Right? And it doesn't mean that just because you get married or you're in that it should be a prison sentence. All right? That's cool. Most of us, I've been married once before. I'm with my husband now 19 years, almost married 17 years. Yeah, I don't think anybody really goes into marriage like, you know what? This is going to be temporary. I think I want to do this for, I don't know, a couple years. No. But you gotta understand that people grow at different speeds. Some people grow up like this together. Some do this, some do this, some do this. It's okay. And it's okay for you to be like, I can't do this anymore. It is. It's okay for you to be like, you know what? I know everybody in my house grew up on the farm. Everybody took care of the farm. And now they think I want the farm. I don't want the farm. I don't want to work on the farm. Then don't work on the farm. Now, obviously, if you're underage and this is a requirement, that's fine. I'm talking about as an older person, you don't have to take on that farm. But you got to ask, because you can't have it both ways either. You can't be like, I'm going to break the cycle, but I want them to be okay with it. Those things don't live in the same zone. They will never live in the same zone. So you got to say, am I important to me? Because if you're important to you, you're going to do it. And you're not going to necessarily do it with maliciousness, but I'm telling you what happens when somebody doesn't like the actions that you're taking or that you're doing. They will try to manipulate, try to guilt trip you. They'll try to do all of those things to get you to change and put you into a box in which they themselves were put into. And a lot of times the people who struggle the most with this are the people who wanted to make the changes but didn't make the changes because they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm bad if it doesn't. So now they're seeing you and they're like, oh no. It's a lot of that subconscious. It's almost like, I didn't get to do that. You're not doing that. No, I want it. No. It may not be just as obvious as that to them, but there's a high level of that. And then some people are just really married to the limited belief. It's a limited belief, that everybody has to do something the same way and they have to do it because that's how we do it in the family. Free yourself. Free it from those expectations. Free it right now. Free yourself up right now. Because the reality is this: you are the only human being who's going to live 100% of your life with you. You're not living your 100% of your life with your kids, your spouses, your parents, your pets, your job. No one but you. You have to try new things and you have to fall flat on your face. Fall flat on your face. Well, that didn't work out too well. Well, I'm going to get up and do it again. Try something different. Nothing changes until you change. Nothing changes unless nothing changes while you stay the same. Comfort zone, non-comfort zone. You've got to embrace those challenges. You have to be willing to walk that different path. Because if you're not going to walk that different path, you can't just keep looking over the other path and going, that looks so nice over there. I want to get on that. Then go get on it. Let them be mad. Let them be upset. And you go into that scared. You go into that being the first person. Okay, because there's a first person who's done everything that you're experiencing right now on this internet, on driving a car. Everybody had to be the first one and they had to break the cycle. So then you got to ask yourself, why am I trying to keep the peace to do, I'm just using religion or anything else, to practice this or to do this because that's what we've always done, but then I don't really get anything comfortable here. Now I feel some kind of way and I feel shame if I don't do it. And now my grandmother's going to be upset. Now all these people. Calm down, breathe, go inward. What do you want to try? What are some things you want to do? Try them. You don't always have to tell everybody either. Shh, keep everything. Shh. Everybody doesn't need to know that until you're ready for them to know it. And when you are ready for them to know it, don't worry about the feedback that you're going to get, because you will get pushback. Oh God, you're going to get so much pushback. People are going to say, that's stupid. What are you doing? We don't do that here. I can't believe that. People are going to be upset with you. I'm upset with you. That's scary. No. I've seen it happen, and I can tell you almost verbatim what they would say to you. And sometimes it's all of them. Sometimes it's one of those things. Okay. So here's a good question. Here's a prompt to ask yourself. What do I believe in? And I don't just mean religious, anything. What do I believe in? Not them. You might say, I have no idea. And that's great. If you don't have idea, look at how many opportunities open up for you. But just because you're kind of comfortable about practicing the way somebody else in your family did or how you've always done lineage-wise, doesn't mean that that comfort is giving you happiness or peace. And sometimes you're just going to have to figure it out. You might not know it all, but at least venture out onto the other path, find your way, groom to a different path, groom this path. And when I say groom the path, it's like grooming like when you groom a golf course, like you're grooming it, you're making it really pretty, like you groom your hair, right? You're grooming your path. And so in the beginning, you're going to have rocks on it and you're going to have holes in it and dirt and all these things. And you got to like constantly keep raking it and grooming it and trimming it. And you got to do all of that. You have to, because then you get to walk it. Nobody else has maybe walked it, or some other people have walked it, but you're walking it on a different path. You're kind of grooming and mowing into a different area, and you can do that. The world is abundant. Just because people are doing this doesn't mean that now suddenly you don't, your opportunities are gone. Make the opportunity. It's there. Your limit is here, and your limit is somebody else's limited beliefs. So now you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to adopt, like new habits to adopt? What are you willing to adopt knowing that everybody else isn't going to be on board and that they may not understand it? But this means that you're breaking off of it. So what are you willing to do about it?